Ah, we're back. Thought we got
Back,
fired.
baby.
We're back.
Who got fired? What?
Well, we thought with the whole structural change here at FPF, we all got fired, right? That's what I thought was the case. That we were all getting laid off.
We're gonna have new faces.
Mass
here, next
layoffs.
week.
No one working the games, for FPF. It is called the Audible. Iggy, Omar. What's Omar's nickname again? What was his nickname again, Iggy? Did we give him a nickname?
We did we
The
officially
Oreo.
put
The
a
Oreo.
nickname
The
for
Oreo.
Omar?
The Oreo. Yeah. Or Omar the Oreo.
Oreo.
Yes. Yeah. The Oreo. The Oreo.
Oh,
because
the
we called-
Oriole. Yeah.
The Oriole, yes, because we called Alex Eagle.
Yes.
What's the other guy? Ali Reza, the Nightingale, and Omar the Oriole. Omar the Oriole. So here we are, episode 2, week 2 of the season. Iggy and I in the fold. We're getting ready for what should now be a more stabilized direction of games now, because week 1's always the oh my god, I need flags. Oh my god, I need this. Oh my god, I need that. I need to do team pictures and all that. Speaking of that, team pictures. We've started the process earlier than before, where we're making progress, thankfully. Just a reminder, guys, that we're going to take team pictures for hopefully another week. Nothing more than that.
It's gonna
Hopefully.
at least go till week 4 or 5.
Whatever. We'll make another week. We'll lay claim. Like CNN declares victory with majority rule. But look, we're going to do team pictures. It's important, that, guys. It takes 2 minutes. That's all we're asking for. If you're missing a guy or two, please, we'll take one then, and then we'll do one later on in the season. And that's the compromise we'll do. So team pictures being done as we speak. Week 3, or is it now week 3, Iggy? Can we officially say it's week 3 for most teams?
No. Well, by the time people watch this, it'll be Friday. So yes, it is officially week 3.
So what that means is that uniform policy is now in play. And what does that mean? You need to have a proper uniform with a proper number, not taped, markered. That won't be accepted. You need to have a number on your shirt to be recognized for the game played and stats for. For example, if you're wearing a blue shirt, your team's wearing red, that will not count as a game played or stats, because you're not following the uniform protocol. And we're giving teams 2 weeks, 2-week period here to get their uniform sorted out. So as of this Sunday, which is the start of the new FPF week, you must have your uniforms ready to go and looking sharp on the football field, catching touchdowns or dropping touchdowns from Iggy Magnets.
Who dropped the touchdown? What are you referring to?
I'm just saying, you throw a lot of INTs in Division A. But that's not a story.
You're just saying the highs and lows, whether it's a target or a touchdown. If you want the stat, you got to wear your uniform.
Of course. But it is important, guys. Look, we're not trying to be ball busters or anything, but we give them warnings to everyone out there, right? That, hey, guys, no tape numbers, no marker numbers. No, it's got to be a legitimate, proper number that's visible for the scorekeepers and referees to see. And makes our jobs for whoever scorekeeper a lot easier to ID players and give you guys the stats that you want, right? You don't want to have, your stats go to someone else because you wore a crappy ass shirt with a crappy ass number on it.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean the majority of like emails where there's stats issues, it's because you guys weren't wearing proper numbers, and if I have 2 players with no numbers and I don't know who you are with no picture, I cannot determine who's who, so your stats are going to be most likely wrong. Now, of course, there are that's not the rule in every single case, but a lot of times, especially at the beginning of the season, that is a cause for statistical errors.
yeah.
The other thing I was going to say was for about the uniform. It's like, this is the biggest flag league in the world. We want to promote it. We're on Instagram. The visibility of what's projected on the field and through Instagram and through videos, you want it to look, I mean, first of all, not just high professional and whatnot. The basic of any sports league, people have numbers. Like it's the bare minimum. But then obviously a portrayal of a more professional league, you would want people wearing at least the same color and a proper number. That's the
Problem is, Iggy, is that in this league, no one apparently has played organizational sports, recreational sports, which requires uniforms. They think, we can just show up in our whatever T-shirt. No, you need to have a proper number, guys, and a color uniform to go with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else, Iggy, for our viewers?
No. We mentioned it in passing. outdoors or indoors, any either outdoor or indoor at Laval. We mentioned it briefly, Mo. You did the no pets policy. You cannot bring, unfortunately, your dog. You can bring your mom and dad and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends, but the pets cannot be riding a shotgun with them. So
But you broke the rule on
no,
Sunday at Loyola, Iggy. You brought your dog with you.
Loyola's fine. Loyola's fine.
Oh, it's okay because you brought your dog. But if I brought my dog,
Loyola's
I'd be
fine.
crap.
Laval.
I'm just saying.
We're having you had an incident at Laval, did you?
It wasn't me. I was told by a snitch about what happened. I was told by someone last Thursday there was someone who had a dog. Laval asked that person to remove itself from the field, and the person got upset and confronted that person. I don't know who that person is. If I did, you would have the fear of God for me going towards you, and that would square it up real quick. Trust me, real quick. Okay, let's dive into Iggy. Week 2, week 3, we're full throttle now with the FPF season, and we're gonna kick off with the women's division. And look, I was fortunate to see quite a few women's games this past week, and how it played out. Cayenne, this is a team that they're in women's 1, Iggy. I know it's 4 teams, but those are 4 quality teams that we have in women's A. You look at the record right now with where they're at. They are at 2-0. They got a 2-game set coming up against Sub-Zero. By the time the dust is settled, when we converse again next week, or when you converse with PZ next week, will they still be undefeated, or will they be at 500 or worse?
No, they're not going to be undefeated. I think they could get a split against Sub-Zero, but if you had to go 50-50 on each game, or if you were leaning towards one side having a slight advantage and it's probably going to be on converts, I think you'd have to go with Sub-Zero in both cases. So I think 3-1 is a possibility, but so is 2-2. But undefeated, it's possible, but I give that like a 5% chance. So 95% chance that they're not 4-0 come next week.
Okay, so if you 95% chance, so what are the odds that they are going to be 3-1?
3-1. I think the odds are 50% that they go 3-1, and maybe that's a bit high. Maybe like 33% odds that they go 3-1.
So at least how much for them to go 2-2 then?
No, you can do just because. So it would be 66% because you only have to do the 33 with the 66. The 95-5 is a different outcome altogether.
Right. So I think that look, their first 2 games they ripped UKTR. UKTR only scored 7 points, right, in 2 games. So I think it's just that's an anomaly, right? I think Cayenne now will get their real test against a very good Sub-Zero squad, who, again, as we said last week, a majority of these girls, women, I beg your pardon, are prepping for nationals or world championships at the end of August in Finland. And, we look at this receiving core alone, the Sarah Cormiers, the Emily Carrière, the Sybille, the Laurence Pontbriand. I mean, that's a 4-headed monster that, anyone would wish to have at least 1/4 of that on their roster. And Sarah Parker has been locked in, and she's been playing fabulous football since the turn of March up to where we are now into the spring season. So I just think that the flame-throwing ability of Parker, the ability to play some good defense as well, could give Cayenne a cold milk on their mouth as you try to douse some hot sauce against Sub-Zero when they play each other on Thursday and then when they reconvene next Monday.
Don't you want cold milk in your mouth when you have hot sauce?
Well, that's the word, right? When you eat something spicy, you're supposed to have cold milk. No,
yes,
I
that's
don't
what
drink
you
milk
want.
anymore. I drink almond milk actually.
But why would Sub-Zero be giving them cold milk? That's what they want.
Yeah, but they're hot. Cayenne, right? It's hot, right?
They would be giving them warm milk, so something that you don't want.
But you want to douse the hot start from Cayenne.
Okay, yes, in that sense, yes, fine.
Yes, you're welcome.
I think that's going to be the case here. I think Sarah Parker is just going to put up the points, and especially her connection, like you mentioned with, but especially with Sarah Cormier, one of the best snappers in all of obviously the women's division. But I go as far as saying, you know, like if she was in Division B and C of the men, she wouldn't look
Mhm.
out of place. So she's definitely one of the touchdown leaders right now on the team with 4. But not just that, on the convert. If I think that this is going to be a game that comes down to converts, she has 3 points right now. All of the points coming off of converts have come off the hands of Sarah Karimi.
Yeah, I think Lorian Beauchamp will have a massive influence in this game. You know, we know her very well, right? She's also well immersed in the women's flag football community locally and nationally as well, internationally speaking as well, for her acumen that she is as a football player. And, you know, in that chess matchup with her, in which she can bring as a defensive stalwart, which, again, 5 PDs ready through 2 games, she can really perhaps guess right on the Sub-Zero offense and make it a little bit more spicier for Sarah Parker to handle and what she can bring. So I think this game has a lot influence. They'll play each other once more later on this season. But if they were to go 1-1, I think that it's advantage for Cayenne for now until they reconvene again towards the end of the season, which could very well tell us who will be the 1 seed, 2 seed going towards the Page playoffs in late July.
So yeah, and actually looking at this matchup, forgetting that Mathilde Renault of Cayenne is on the other side, it's going to be a big snapper battle. So battle of l'épaule, I guess.
Okay, so UKTR, they got a double dip coming up on the weekend. They'll play Sub-Zero, then travel to Laval for their second game after that. So the Matrix UKTR game, it feels like that is what we're looking at in terms of the parity with those two teams. Could we take a lot out of this game? I know it's early, but I'm saying that in terms of where we can see these teams ranked in the 1, 2, 3, 4 level of Women's A, that if UKTR beats Matrix or vice versa, that they might have the inside track towards number 3 seed in this whole process, if not maybe the 2 seed.
Yeah, I do think so. Obviously, UQTR not having a full lineup. The reason for which they're only putting up 7 points in combined in the first 2 games. But I do think the full roster is better than what you've seen so far. And the same is true of Matrix with names like Abigail Perrault, Anne-Frédéric Tardif, Emily Papillon, and Elizabeth Ashkar. This is a strong team as well. So I think the battle for third place plays itself out between these two. And again, depending on who exactly is the quarterback for Matrix, there's a nice receiving core around that quarterback there.
And again, just to refresh everyone's mind for the Women's Day playoff format, it's a page system. So 1 versus 2, winner goes directly to the finals, and the loser plays the winner of 3 versus 4. So if you were to win this game here, either it is going to be UKTR or Matrix. I'm not saying it's over that you can't get the number 1 and number 2 seeds, but it really puts you in a deep hole if you were to lose this game because, Iggy, you think about it right now, Sub-Zero, Cayenne are starting to run away. They'll play each other. They'll cancel each other out perhaps. If not, someone might sweep it. Who knows? But right now, you don't want to fall behind and lose that thought process that maybe you're not going to get within a fingertip of being in the top 2 spots, a chance to be in the top 2 spots, which would give you essentially double elimination status for the playoffs.
Who's the team that's more likely to make a run for that 1-2 seed, Matrix or UQTR?
I think UKTR have a good roster to work with, but it's just consistency, right? And them being a little bit much more effective because they've been here for they've come spring season years past. They've been effective. They've been good. They've had some moments of being marauding on the field of scoring points. But at the end of the day, Iggy, you're going up against teams above you who, in theory, could be sending them to LA for 2028. It's a tough ask, but you got to do the task properly, and I think they can definitely do it as well. All right, Women's B, Iggy, and I caught a lot of Women's B action, and a team that really caught my attention is Wolfpack. They're 3-0. They have
Told you.
They have flown out of the gates, and are we still on air here? Are we still good to go on air?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. I heard someone's noise. I heard someone say something to my earpiece. That's why.
That was me.
Oh,
I
okay, my
said
bad.
I said I told you.
Okay, I thought it was Omar saying something to me on my earpiece because I was looking at the roster right now. Okay, so look, they have run it right now. And look, my question about them is that are they a really good team or have they benefited from an easy schedule? Because again, Iggy, their schedule so far in the first 3 games, they have played the Wildcats, who they rampaged right through. They had a tough one in a win over Red Nation, which was a 6 point victory earlier this week, and they smashed A Town, which is a relatively new team, the Huntsic women's flag football team playing in this division. So really are they a team that benefited from weaker competition but had a tough game against Red Nation, or are they just really the best of the best right now through a third of the season?
Yeah, definitely benefited from an easy schedule, and you know what? Looking at the remainder of their schedule, yeah, okay, because it's only 8 teams in the division. Because the schedule doesn't get harder as the weeks come along. You have A Town again, which they handled, like you said, in week one with relative
Mm-hmm.
ease, and then you do have the tougher opponents. Similar to Red Nation, you have Le Petit Miette. They play Wildcats again. Again, there was a bit of a drubbing there in week two.
Yeah, the spread might be
Uh,
35 and a half in that game.
exactly. They have another matchup with Red Nation, which could go either way, right? A 12-6 game. It's usually a defensive battle with Red Nation. That one could go Red Nation's way later in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do play a bit of a tough, like their tougher stretch comes with in the month of July with Red Nation, Ibu, Supernova. That stretch in July is their tough part of the season. That's really when we're gonna get a better read on Wolfpack. But like you saw, and I've been saying it, I really like that trio, and Camille Dumas has been improving at the quarterback position. Karianne Auger, who was not there against Wildcats, only imagine if she was there. It could have been 70 points. But you have stronger defenders with each passing season in Christelle Zhu, Jad Shen Moreau. And then like you and they've added back Marielle
And
Paradis.
today's Nguyen as well.
Yes, exactly. And then obviously we've always talked about Maris Paquette as one of the best two-way players in the division, but Marielle Paradis is making her name as a candidate as well. She's having a great start to the season with 9 touchdowns, 380 yards, and 5 interceptions. One of them being a pick six in the early part of the season.
Yeah, look, I think that look they trounced Wildcats, who unfortunately
Wildcats,
just
yeah.
I think it's their first season and this them trying to get used to the Barons of FPF Women's B. But their defense is really good. I mean, Paradis, you mentioned before. Nguyen's a really good, underrated player that really can cut the underneath stuff so quick. She's small in size, but she's quick as bleep out there in terms of how she is a wonderful player to watch on the football field. And I just think right now, through the first 3 games, sample size, I'm going to say it's inconclusive because of 2 of the 3 opponents not being really like that tough yet. And unfortunate for them to play A-Town right next week, and that might be another high point spread for them. But look, you go by what your record is, what your schedule is that's given to you. But keep this in mind, though, right, Iggy? Women's 2 winter playoffs didn't go according to script. So it could
Uh
be the
huh.
same thing as well in this division that it may not go according to script, where maybe the Wolfpack really don't get serious competition until the playoffs. And look, they'll get Red Nation midway through the season, I think in early July, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And then Hibu, which didn't have a good game themselves against Supernova, so maybe they're trying to find their bearings. They could easily be 8 wins, maybe 9, and if things really break, 10-0 going towards a playoff run.
That would be a nice season for them because they've always hovered around that 5-5 mark.
Yeah.
If they could go 9-1, 10-0, watch for Wolfpack this season.
Supernova, are they a pretender or a contender? They are 1-0. They had their first game and they absolutely outclassed Hibu 31-7. Not much to really uh, go about for Hibu in terms of the fact that they were missing Emily Adam early on in the game and didn't have a quarterback. But Florence Bro, I beg your pardon, really good game, was efficient. I love how she's able to buy time in the pocket, to give herself another second or two to get the open player the ball. Conte had a wonderful game, some clutch catches late in the first half that kind of opened up the floodgates towards the second half of what they did. And I just think that overall, Supernova, if we're going to look at a clash of titans in this division for Women's B, Supernova, Red Nation, and Wolfpack might be your three teams that could very well be two of the three, or one of the three could very well be in the Women's B final in early August.
I mean, it was a team that was in the final last spring season. Supernova Red Nation was the matchup, and yeah, so far so good. They put a good showing up against Ibu, who made it to the finals in Women's 2 this past winter season. So Supernova off to a great start, and then Mo, you were mentioning one of the players on Supernova. Was it Rosalie Cantin?
Yeah.
Star in the making potentially here. Great two-way player, but not just her. Audrey Lajoie also now playing with Kiss My End Zone in Co-Ed 1. We'll get there a little later. But Audrey Lajoie, another two-way stud in the women's flag world. Both of these players on Supernova makes them a very, very dangerous team for sure.
No question. But I love the color purple. I think that's the sickest color to have for a uniform out there. And so the uniforms look really nice. It has, because purple is viewed as being a royal color, right? Like it's considered to be a high-end, high-maintenance color. So those are super cool uniforms as well to look at. I think Supernova, I know it's one game sample, right? It's Cebu that they played. And but they definitely have the ingredients, if it's cooked properly, to be in that conversation of a top three team in Women's B. So we have a big one this week, coming up. Hibu will play Les Boys this week. So Hibu did not have a good start, or just good start in week 2 in the second game against Supernova. They get Les Boys coming up Sunday outdoors at Loyola Maisonneuve here. Don't know much about Les Boys yet, and I'll see them this Sunday with you and others on Sunday morning here. But I'm not saying it's a need win, but I feel like it's a must win for Hibu if they want to be in that race for the top 3, if not top 4 spots.
Yeah, I would think so as well. And you're right. We don't know much about Les Boys other than their first game going 24-0 over Wildcats. Wildcats you now saw. I somewhat saw. And yeah, you can tell this is a newer team, not just FPF, as you mentioned. This is a newer team to flag, it seems. And they're just getting their bearings set on, play concepts and defensive coverage and whatnot. So for a 24-0 victory, clearly Les Boys have some fundamentals under their belts. Just how much of a fundamental will it be versus a team that made it to the finals, like I mentioned in winter season here with Les Ibu. I think you're right, though. I think if Ibu now starting 0-1, if they want their shot at a top 4 seed here, Women's B, the top 4 seed seems to be, the teams that you mentioned here. If they want to be part of that conversation, I think it comes a necessary victory over Les Boys.
Yeah, and also I think Emily Adam has to play better quarterback. I mean, she came late, which doesn't help anyone's rhythm in trying to prep yourself for a game regardless of sport that you play in. But, she's got players. I mean, you think about Elie Tellier, she's fabulous. I think she's a really good two-way player. Beaulieu is a good player both sides. Rosalie Beauregard is a good player on both sides of the football here. There's some good players on this team for Hibu. And remember, Iggy, they were 1 2-point conversion away from forcing overtime the Women's 2 final and maybe being the Women's 2 champions in the winter season. So they have the pedigree. They have the ability to win these type of games here. But it's a question of having a more consistent roster to work with that makes them more lethal. If they don't have a consistent roster where guys are coming late or they don't have the right remedy players out there, it's more self-inflicted than anything else on them trying to win these football games.
I think a big loss, though, on this roster, Mo, and it must be said because in that women's final, you saw the impact of oh, no, the name's escaping me. Emilie Papillon, sorry.
Yeah.
She's not on the roster, or at least hasn't played a game yet, but is not even listed on the roster with 0 games played. She's one hell of a player, one hell of a two-way player, which is especially important
Yeah.
for this team. They seem to have some offensive playmakers and defensive playmakers, but no one like Emilie Papillon necessarily. So we'll see where they stack up without her. Like you mentioned, there are some pieces that are definitely that can shine in this offense and this defense. But let's see where Les Ibu are going to rank. Even come midway through
Okay,
the
on to
season.
Koei 1, Koei 2, Koei 3. Iggy, big one this week. It's the forever rivals going at it in the co-ed world. It's literally the what's that West Side Story? The Sharks versus the Jets. Is that what it is? Is that the storyline in the West Side
I
Story?
don't know why are you bringing me back to like a '70s
I don't know.
reference,
I
'80s
just want to
reference.
go like I don't want to use modern day and then it becomes like a
Of
big like
course
oh my
not,
goodness
because
you're using this as the comparison. No, I want to use like a fictional battle of the lines here with these two teams. Kiss My End Zone IG team. How much do you hate this team, Nikki? Because you guys have gone neck and neck. A lot of trash talking, a lot of wins both sides of the fence here, and now you add another chapter to the Rolodex of highlights with you guys against them.
I love how you're trying to instigate here and poke the hate word around. No, I think it's a great rivalry. I think you're right that what makes up a great rivalry is that both teams are have and can win the games, right? It's not one sided. That doesn't make a great rivalry. One team will win and one final, and then they'll meet in the playoffs, and the other team will win and bounce the others, and usually, like you mentioned, these teams do meet eventually in the playoffs. So definitely a great rivalry there. I'd say there's more love than hate, and it's just going to be another chapter here this
I
week.
don't know about that, Iggy. I remember last year there was a little bit of bleep you going on right there.
Oh no. There's
Okay,
always look, the emotions run high. It definitely gets intense. But that's like most games. The intensity is high on the field, but once the game ends, it's a lot of handshaking and just much respect.
all right. Okay, well, look, here's the thing, right? You guys split against ECW. Look, your schedule's not
Luckily,
easy because you get IG team twice in 3 weeks plus pass whooping the the co-ed 2 champions from winter season.
yep.
Look, I mean, not to say it's the end all be all here, but at 1-1 with the next 3 games, that could really shape up Kiss My End Zone's hopes of being a top 2 seed come playoff time. And I'm not saying you guys are going to lose all 3, but to win all 3, that would definitely, if we do power rankings early right now for week 7, week 8, that would put you guys number 1 in my power rankings if you come away with 3 wins in a row on the jump from here on in.
I think I would have to realistically say I'd be happy with a 2-1 record coming out of the next 3 game stretch here. But keep this in mind, and the context around this is that the Kiss My End Zone Easy Fun game that just happened this past Sunday at Brossard. Easy Fun had a 7-point victory, 7-point lead with 2 plays remaining in the game. And Kiss My End Zone was able to squeak one out in a game that honestly didn't deserve to win, but got a touchdown. Cut the field in half with one play. Got a Hail Mary to Sanders, and then opted to go for 2. Hit Isaiah Allard for the game winner. So Kiss My End Zone was seconds away from being 0-2, and this 3-game stretch would have loomed even larger for this team. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're thinking about the next 3-game stretch here for KMEZ.
Yeah, I think primetime Lexi's got to rely on Jafia Jones, who I think has to come up big, amongst the female contributors, and she's an important piece of that offense on the IG team. Look, this IG team, we know how it's based off of. It's based off of primetime Alexi using his ingenuity, his creativity, his magical touch that he has in the football and his legs to bamboozle defenses, right? And try to hold him for that split second that gives him that adrenaline fuel to kind of zip through for another 5-6 yards here. So if he gets a control of the narrative of this storyline in this football game, it just makes it a lot tougher on you guys because he might have you guys second guessing. Is he going to pass? Is he going to run if he's allowed to? So I think the ability to really stymie or stifle primetime Alexi will be huge for Kiss My End Zone on the weekend.
Yeah, it always is. We'll come up with the rushers against Jeans Lee. It's almost always the difference between victory and defeat. You saw that with what Plenty of Fish present. They have a great defense as it is, but when you add Julian McLaren Thompson to the mix, it's possible to shut down the IG team offense, which is explosive. So definitely, rusher is a key piece. So we'll see what Kiss My End Zone has in store for the IG team.
Okay, on the flip side, what is wrong with the Epoxy Net? They're 0-3. They've lost every game essentially by a possession or less, or more or less possession less. They're 0-3, Iggy. Could we say that the top seed or top two seeds is out of reach for them, given the gauntlet of teams that is above them right now, moving forward?
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, they have a point differential of -17, like you said. So they're clearly in and within reach of every game and within reach of victory in every game. They're gonna need to pick up the wins because it's the co-ed one can be unforgiving. Remember, one team doesn't make it, and at the beginning of the season, if you asked me in a preseason show if we ever did one, I would have never said that Le Porcinet would be, 3 games into the season would be in 0-3 and potentially being the team that doesn't make the playoffs in co-ed 1. But that is the case right now. And you have games against Pass Whoopin, which they lost already, 31-27.
Yeah.
And then Easy Fun, which is never an easy matchup. And then to wrap up the next 3 games here against Vultures. Again, never an easy matchup, just like Easy Fun. I mean, none of these games are going to be easy matchups. So they're going to have to turn their ties around, limit the turnovers, which right now they only have 2 turnovers in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So if already there's only 2 turnovers in 3 games, that's not a lot. So you got to limit that even more because they're, like you said, they're losing by a possession. It's essentially the interceptions that they're throwing that are essentially costing them the games. If not the interceptions, they're going to have to beat teams on converts.
Yeah. So I agree with you that I have 3 losses. Number 1 seed is hanging by a thread. Unless we see an ultimate collapse from Plenty of Fish and you guys and the IG team to lose games, number 1 seed's gone. Number 2 seed is not gone, but it's virtually gone because if they were to lose the Pass Whooping next Wednesday, that's out the window. And you're right, Iggy. Yeah. Like, you have one team that misses the playoffs. And you get my point here. Like, you're 0-3. You have 7 games. So if you win the lot, you'll be 7-3. You'll be comfortably at least a 3 seed, 4 seed. But if you lose another one, if you lose 2 more, Iggy, now you're looking at maybe 4, if not 5, 6 as being your target mark to get in the playoffs at this point in the season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only other team right now without a victory, if I saw that correctly, was Vultures. Vultures. So, if you quickly take a look at their schedule, they have Easy Fun next week and Plenty of Fish after that. Plenty of Fish back-to-back, and then play Le Porcinet. So, it could be, come June 12th, it could be a battle of who's not going to make it between Vultures and Porcinet. We'll have to see, but definitely Vultures Porcinet June 12th, Wednesday at 10 o'clock in Laval is going to be a big one.
Okay, on to Code 2. Before we start, first off, we want to start love to the Fit Squad team. An awful injury that occurred on Sunday, which was awful. I was there, and a few others were there. You weren't there, Iggy. You were, I think you were busy at the time here, but an awful injury. And we have to delay the game or stop the game at that point. And it will be rescheduled. We will talk to the captains to get that rescheduled. But an awful injury, we never want that to happen on the FPF field anywhere, whether it's co-men's, women's, whatever it is. And it was unfortunate that it did happen, and it was hoping for a speedy recovery and anything that they need the Fit Squad, just let us know what's up.
Yeah, well said, Mo. Definitely, I'm not going to say condolences, but Definitely a heartfelt compassion goes from honestly all the FPF staff, and we exactly we hope for a speedy recovery, and like you said, Mo, if you need anything, we're here for sure
If you
for
get to
any team,
fluff
any
your
player.
pillows, he'll be there for you.
I'll be right there. I'll be
Absolutely.
bedside.
Rookies,
You can get a
they
visit. You can get a visit here from my dog as he's trying to paw me
yeah,
he
your
wants.
dog,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, your dog and I have had some battles, some clashes, physical clashes. Rookies are 3-0. Are we buying into this team as being the best of the teams from this pack of Coa 2 rosters here, Iggy?
So I'm not ready to crown them as the best, but they're definitely in the mix. They're definitely one of the best 2, 3 teams in COA 2. I mentioned it last week as you brought it up as a matchup. Kiss My Christmas Balls versus the Rookies. I think you were favoring Kiss My Christmas Balls, but I told you to watch out for the Rookies. They have a great lineup, and they were still missing in that game. They were missing 2 huge pieces in Edouard Leroux and Charles Vero, and they still got the win over Alexis Dubois and Paulo De La Rocca in Kiss My Christmas Balls. So they showed that they don't necessarily need their best players to win, and that's a dangerous sign if you're everyone else in COA 2, that the rookies are winning games without necessarily their best players there.
Well, let's look at it this way. Cedric Maurice is, early nominee for quarterback of the year in Coa 2. Already 12 TDs, 1 INT through 3 games. You prorate that, Iggy. We're looking at somewhere in the early 40s and 3 INTs and a guy that could well be on his way towards 1,400 yards passing. But again, that's going to change, long-term view. But I look at rookies right now, and look, that's a big one over Kiss My Christmas Balls. That's an established team of names on this roster. Now you get who's going to carry the boats coming up here next Thursday. So they have a bit of a 9-day layoff, so we can talk about that next week here. But they get them, they get Air Force, they get Cavaliers. Those next 3 games are going to be kind of fun to watch and really see how they adapt. Because remember, we talk about teams that benefit from weaker schedules, and we talk about teams that benefit from maybe playing a tougher schedule. This is a mismatch of strong and weaker teams that they go up against. So can they show the same equal performances I'm seeing from a standpoint of output, then we're playing down or we're playing up to competition here. So that's what I want to see from these next 3 games here. Look, 3-0 is 3-0. That's full props to them. They deserve it. But if they come away maybe 5-1 or 6-0 by the time we hit the turn of mid-June, then now we can start looking at them as maybe being in that conversation of a playoff contender for the Coa 2 championship.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a storyline that we see throughout the season. And like I said, when you don't have your 2 best male, let me stipulate, potentially your 2 best male players, and you're still winning, it's because of players like Elodie Simoneau and Megan Trudel on the female side that are making up for it. And those are 2 very, very good players, even Anne-Frédéric Tardif as well, like I mentioned in the women's division. As the sun is going to be blinding here just a little bit, I'll get the golden hour. But when you have the female talent like that's what makes them one of the most dangerous teams.
You look pasty white right now, actually.
No, like I look golden.
You look pasty white right now.
No. I look almost orange, actually. That's what makes them one of the
Donald
best
Trump,
teams
what?
in COA 2. Yes, I know.
Make
Look
flag
Trumpy.
football great again, I guess, there. Huh?
Great.
Cavaliers, Air Force One. Do Air Force have the Jets to contain the Cavaliers? Unfortunately, the Cavaliers' fifth squad game had to stop, so there was no winner or loser. That'll be rescheduled for them. But you look at the Cavaliers, they had a tough loss against Kiss My Christmas Balls week 1, but week 2 they smashed. What was it? Who they played
Bolas
against?
profundas.
Yeah,
Come on.
Profundas, right
Bolas
there, yeah.
profundas. Come on.
So here's the thing, here's an underlying story to this game for Cavaliers. They're missing their key male athletes because they had a football practice last Sunday. They'll have them back for this game against Air Force. What I want to see from the Cavaliers is a more sustained offensive output, which they have not had yet because of the benefit of those pick sixes that they had during the last game here. But I want to see how this team plays now, Iggy, like with their quarterback, right? Juliette Beauvais, who we know very well, and by the way, they have a flag football tournament early July, which we'll post up for FPF soon enough. Beauvais is a really good quarterback, but she's not had a good start to the year. Only 3 TDs, 6 INTs. Not Beauvais-like efforts in terms of where she's at, but she's got a lot of weapons to work with. And you look at Emile Gregoire, you look at Jaden Edgehill, PJ Frederick, Vanessa Dove, Jessica Kembu. These are all excellent players right now on the Cavaliers team. I think it's a matter of her just getting that rhythm to get back to what she does so well as being an excellent pocket passer for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I like this team as being potentially one of the better teams. More likely just on the skirts of that top 3 seed. It could be a 3, 4, 5 seed, and that would be a dangerous team that you wouldn't want to go up against. I think it's a team like you said, building the chemistry just more and more with Juliette Beauvais. At least from the male side, because the females have played with her for a few seasons now, and definitely with reps with the Cavaliers. But getting in rhythm more with these talented male players, that's what makes this team a dangerous team. So definitely Cavaliers a team to watch out for. As for Air Force being a tougher competition, I'm not too sure. I think they can handle Air Force. The one game I would like to see would be more Kamikaze. I've seen them a few times now. A decent team that I could see that one being a high-scoring game against Cavaliers. So it's going to be whose offense is better. And when you're talking about Juliette Beauvais and getting that chemistry, it's going to have to come in bunches against Kamikaze.
Co-ed 3. The last team that will lose a game among the undefeateds, 1-9ers, Block Party, Michael Scott's Tots, or Bondi. Who will be the last one to... Who will be the last team standing that's undefeated that will lose a game?
So this exercise always involves opening up every single schedule.
Yes.
So thank you, Mo, for that.
You're welcome, because I did this.
So if we look at
today,
if we look at Bonzit, they have Ghosted coming up, which we have to talk about, by the way. Hopefully, you mentioned that in the script. We do have an all-women's team in Co-Ed 3. So they do have Ghosted coming up. Then Free Agent Squad, Block Party on June 18th. So that could potentially break the tie on June 18th. Chef Bonzit, then 1-9ers if ever it doesn't. Well, no, at that point by June 18th there'll be a loser. Hopefully there's no tie. So potentially June 18th if you're looking at the Bonzit schedule. Block Party, they have Les Pookies coming up. Chef Bonzit, and then they play Michael Scott's Tots June 9th. So that could potentially break the deadlock there of teams without a loss. And then the team that you'd look at next, 1-9ers, playing Free Agent Squad, Ghosted, Les Pookies, and then June 20th, Block Party. So already there by dates, I think 1-9ers can win all of those games up until that Block Party game, which could go either way. But already there, you're looking at June 20th. And then if you look at the final and last team here, Michael Scott's Tots, they have a game against Block Party next on June 9th. So just by, looking at the schedules and quickly answering, it's 1-9ers. By June 20th, they'll be the most long-standing without a loss.
Yeah, I think 1-9ers have they have a good core. I mean, because remember, this is a team from last year, right? That played in the spring season.
Last spring, yeah.
Yeah, and you look at their roster that they put together overall for 1-9ers. I mean, it's beg your pardon. It's a good group of players to look at. You look at Charles Presser, who we know very well. He's worked with us at FPF before. I mean, he's off to a decent start as a quarterback. But you got Alexander Belay, you got Jules Farmer. This is a good roster put together by 1-9ers. And maybe if they come away at the halfway point, if they're still undefeated, then yeah, they might be your fierce wins division going towards the month of July. So I think that they're the team to watch out for with what they've done so far this season. Before we get to the ghosted question here, Iggy, Xavier Parent, right now, is he the runaway leader for quarterback of the year in Co-Ed 3? Because you look at his stats now, Iggy, for what he's done up till now, he is off and he is running. He has 14 touchdowns, 1 INT, has passed for 427 yards. Pass completion a little bit low at 56%, but right now the key number is the yards and touchdowns through 3 games.
Definitely, he has the passing stats to go for it, or to go with it, and then rushing, he's just behind. 97 yards on 5 attempts, 1 touchdown. So I mean that puts him at 4th most rushing yards. So you're already looking at a total of 500 plus, combined passing and rushing. And then when you look at the converts game, we're looking at Bonzit. You already have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're looking at 12 conversions already off converts. So
right,
definitely hitting a lot of extra points, hitting running and throwing the ball as well as any of these. Is he a runaway? No, because in Co-Ed 3, once they may have played some weaker competition as of right now, and there may be games in which he throws more interceptions. Interceptions can be costly for quarterback of the year. Right now, Ivan Solomon of Block Party, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions in 2 games played. You prorate that, he'll get 12 TDs, no INTs. I'd still take the 14 TDs, 1 INT, but 12-0 is not a bad proration.
Right. You might put your head to your left, please. To your left. Oh, to your right.
No. Yes.
To your left.
Why?
Just tilt it that way. Yeah.
You're,
hold on.
You're never gonna see me.
There you go. Hold on. Go again. There we go.
God damn it.
Oh man. Perfect. Excellent.
Yeah. What are you gonna call me, like whiter than a sand beach in Mexico,
exactly,
or
man.
what?
Exactly. Jesus. Yeah, you look like. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm being harassed by Mo. I have my dog here who won't stop this entire show. Everyone's bothering me here today, except for Omar.
I'm sorry. Someone took Sunday off while we were boiling away at Little Amazing Enough doing the scorekeeper shift.
You had nowhere to hide. I joined you.
Afterwards, with 5 minutes left, All right, so Ghosted quickly here, Iggy. You said it before, a team that is all female and excellent female players. Jasmine Farmer, we know very well. Lorraine Potvin, we know very well. Zoe Oxnell, we know very well. This is a good team here. They're 1-1. We've had women's teams play in either primarily men's divisions, if not co-ed. And this team maybe has a chance to make some noise and be, who knows, 6-4, 7-3 if it really breaks their way.
Yeah, definitely. You have some strong names. Even others like Jessica Gosselin already has an INT on the season. Caroline Menard as the quarterback of the team. Marie-Christine Gauthier, well-known receiver and defender, good two-way player for Ghosted. So definitely a lot of star power possible for this team. You saw it with a 32-0 victory over a free agent squad, who looks like this version of free agent squad this year is gonna struggle just a bit. But lost 41-8 against Block Party. Now Block Party, as we've mentioned, long-standing team in co-ed, one of the better teams that did pretty fairly well in the winter season, and is looking to improve upon that. So I don't know. Are they going to fall in between, like you said, 5-5, 6-4? Time will tell. I think so. They have a big test against Bonzit coming up with potential QB of the year, Xavier Patin.
Division E. So I ask you straight off the bat: you taking the field or Mamma Mia to win this division?
You asked me this pre-show here. And as much as I do like what I've seen from Mamma Mia, I'm going to have to take the field here. There's some other hardcore teams in Division E. I'm looking at a game that's being played Thursday night in Laval. Western versus Warriors. This could be a finals preview if potentially. So teams like Western, teams like Warriors are going to definitely give teams like Mamma Mia are run for their money, but I do know why you asked the question. Mamma Mia, very impressive in their first 2 games. You caught them week 1. I caught them week 2. The offense, the defense, led by the smarts and knowledge of Michael Caparelli.
I don't know about the smarts, man. He got toasted on a deep ball.
He did actually. He underestimated the throw of Pranav Sharma, but made up for it with a pick 6 on the I believe on the ensuing drive. So he was able to get one back on the quarterback there. But sitting at 3-0, 133 points. And that's 133 points where that was no 60-0 forfeit. So that's all the offense, what the offense has put up in terms of points. Very impressive so far.
Yeah, these are guys, primarily Laval Senior Academy kids, coached by Caparelli and Johnny Matimenos and others in the league who play in other divisions. So they know each other very well. They have the chemistry down. I mean, it's pretty obvious from their effort right now. They're 3-0. And, Iggy, like, we'll get to the next question. You talked about it before, Western against Warriors coming up. This is massive because you want to, in this playoff format of what we have, right, the division winners essentially get the top 4 spots. You want to get that top 4 spot if you're a division winner, because I'm not saying your road gets easier, but it's a lot clearer of who you could face being a top seed than being maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever it is, and then you fall into that unknown of who we're going to get next, what's going to happen. So I think being the top seed is important in this division, but I think that with Caparelli being the I guess the leader, the mentor of this team, he's kept this team locked in. They played very well. Look at the defense alone, Eggy. I mean, already I believe they're almost at 10 INTs, if not surpassed that number, and we're only through 3 games as a team. So they have a really good defense to work with, and that carries over for the bulk of the year into the playoffs. That's where it matters most for this team if they're going to perhaps win Division E this season.
Yeah, 11 INTs through 3 games. That's serious. However, we talked about benefiting from a weak schedule. Creamsicles, I'll check in a sec, but I know Head Tops Only is pretty much a brand new team. The Diddlers, other than 2 guys that have played in Sharma and Nathan Natel, it's a team very new to Flag. And Creamsicles, as I pull it up here, this looks like a brand new team as well. So they're beating up on brand new teams. I mean, if we look at their schedule, Baby Sharks is going to be one that interesting matchup and a first true test for Mamma Mia that they're going to play on your field at Stade de Montréal on Monday.
The 5-star field, as I like to call it, with Mo Connor.
Yeah. 4-star.
Yeah, right. I'm not your field.
Baby Sharks. Photos. Okay, Baby Sharks is going to be a tougher matchup. And if I look a little further down, maybe Tim Tebow. God damn!
You got caught.
They got
caught
again.
You got caught.
Team Timbo down the line later in July. So they're not going to be they're not going to be tested too much. They're definitely going to be tested, as we know, in the playoffs. The weaker crop gets eliminated, and only the strong stay afloat. So let's see how much experience they gain, and really the importance for them is not going to be necessarily putting up 50-plus points like they've done or like they did this past week, but it's going to be more about understanding concepts and playing sound positional defense, because right now some of the picks are likely falling right into their hands, balls that are not necessarily accurate, versus ones like Michael Caparelli, shooting a gap underneath and reading the quarterback size.
Big one now. It's going to be played Thursday, so when the recording comes out, the game will be done. It's Western against Warriors coming up Thursday in Laval. Could this give us an early indicator on who can get, again, a top 4 seed in the playoffs? Because this Warrior team, I got to see them play against Longhorns in week 1. Impressive. I love how they have a mix of speed, size, and style to work with. Quarterback play, Kevin Summers is very confident in himself. He kind of reminds me of J.J. McCarthy a little bit, and how he looks too, right? The flow, the hair, the whole nine. But this team, this is the first test for them now, and we'll see, right? Like we'll kind of see once the dust settles with this game on Thursday night that if Warriors do win this football game, then they might be in that. Hey, are they better than Mamma Mia at this point in the regular season, Division E?
For sure. I mean, already with guys like Dan Devine and Noah Swaminathan, it's going to be a lethal offensive duo and defensive side of the ball as well. And like you're seeing with Kevin Summers, 10 touchdown, 1 INT in his first 2 games. Very impressive TD to INT ratio right there. Completing 76% of his passes. You don't see that too much in Division E. And then you look at the other side, like you're saying in Western, this team too. You know, the scores 63-6, 64-12 in the first 2 games. But again, they're playing teams that have never played flag football in their life. So definitely on their side of the ball, Cameron Wilson, same thing, 76%, 17 TDs, 2 INTs in 2 games. So while obviously 17 TDs in 2 games is absolute wild, the 2 INTs means he's maybe forcing balls. And I mean, maybe once the game is out of reach, he's, having a little fun and throwing a ball that's not necessarily on target or just chucking one up deep when he shouldn't necessarily be doing that. But you're seeing similar QB numbers, and then receiver-wise, you're seeing Marcus Labropoulos and Matthew Campbell and Dawson Spooner being even Connor Magas, so a 4-headed monster that the Warriors defense are going to have to defend. It's going to be one. I'm telling you, a finals preview already in week 2 of the FPF season.
And we'll have a different finals by the time the August 12th road show.
Absolutely, Mokan. This is why we do the show. We make hot takes, and this is the hot take of Division E this week.
Yeah, we can play. Hey, could the Dallas Cowboys beat Mamma Mia? That'd be the hot take of the week here. No brain, no gain. No brain, no gain. Are you taking a wait and see approach with this team? They've quietly gone about their business and have had a good start to their season.
So yes, I'm gonna have to say wait and see. Even though I shouted them out as a potential, Division E candidate to go deep into the playoffs, but I only say that because their last game is 60-0 forfeit. Since the Stables didn't, for some reason, played in Laval but just didn't make it to Brossard. I don't understand that. With like a 2-hour cushion between the games. Yeah, again, like I said last week, good football pieces to work with. I didn't mention his name. He did look like he subbed in for the rookies when we were talking Coa 2, Timothée Nema-Lacasse. I mentioned potential or candidate for preseason candidate for receiver of the year. The pieces like him, Cédric Frenet, and then defensive players like Teddy Perrier and Timothée himself is going to be strong. It's a lot's going to come down to, and like it usually is, but especially in Division E in the playoffs, Raphaël Caron. He does have that winter season under his belt. He's sitting at 10 TDs, 3 INTs through 3 games, really 2 games. But the difference between those numbers versus the Warriors and the Western teams of the world in Division E is the 54% completion percentage versus the 76%. That's a 22-point difference. That's massive. So that's going to be, you're going to see that be highlighted when defenses are better and the windows are a little tighter in Division E. Can he bring that completion percentage up when defenses are playing man coverage and they're creating tight windows for you to complete your passes?
All right, on to the next division, Division D. Both are off to good starts, but are there more questions about Snowden Deli Deegans or Let Me Sexy?
Yeah, Deegans?
Oh.
Come on, Mo. Now I was about to say it. Degens, no?
Oh, Degens,
Degenerates.
whatever.
Degenerates. Come on, Mo.
Yeah, I'll call Deegans now. That's my new name, Deegans. Like McNoogies, Deegans.
Mo Deegan Khan. What's the question? There's more
questions about them
or
or Let Me Sexy?
or Love Me Sexy. I think
Yeah.
there's questions about both teams. I think Love Me. You have a new QB in Nick Gropini, but of course he has the flag experience to be somewhat competent. You saw him yesterday.
Yeah.
You'll give his your evaluation of him at quarterback in a second here, but I think Snowden Deli Degens. Now I'm with the
Deegans, man. Like
With
Demon
the
Deacons, man. Deegans.
No, look, you didn't score keep them. You saw them behind you a bit, but
Yes.
Adam Malinoff is a quarterback I've seen play in the past. Only suspect he got better and not worse as he's grown up here. But 8 TDs, no INTs. I don't love the 265 yards. That could be a little higher, but for Division E, I can cut some slack. He's definitely spreading the ball out, and he has the players that have done well in the past. Dylan Diane, Lewis Epstein, Adam Liebland. Like I said, spreading the ball 6, 11, 6, 8, and 5 targets share between the 5 different receivers on this team. No one with more than 100 yards, but everyone with at least 20 yards. So it's a team that's very dangerous across the board. I'm going to have to go with Love Me Sexy. A bit more questions about this team. More offensively than defensively, because on the defensive side of the ball with our Alessandro Barazzoni, Nick Gropini, and Luca Raf Morelli rushing, I don't defense so much as offense.
All right, I think there's more questions about Let Me Sexy on offense with the White Tiger, Nick Rupini being the quarterback for this team. He looks the part. He looks like Brady Quinn when he was throwing up 225 at the NFL Combine, right? Like, he looks physically ready to go. But the thing is, my concern about them is that, they were playing the Marty Parties yesterday, the Marty Freeman team. They had a chance to kill him off, but they threw an red zone INT at the 1 yard line, right? Like, you can't do that stuff. And they rotate their quarterbacks. Like, if Gropini's your guy, let him be your quarterback. Like, stop this stupid, let's bring in a different quarterback because we're going to have a different look. No.
I was confused. I'm like, I hope they don't forfeit because Gropini's an 87 on offense. I'm like, I hope they don't forfeit this game.
Well, let's see here. Let's double check here because
they didn't. I checked already.
Yeah. Okay, but that's my point though. Like, if the White Tiger's your quarterback, let him be your quarterback. If he's gonna bleep up, let him bleep up. Don't defer to backup quarterback over here, and just go with what you have. But you're right. They have a good defense to work with. But these close wins, and they had a forfeit win week 1, so that doesn't count. But the last 2 wins, they've won by, I think, a combined score of 8 points. So I think there's more questions about Let Me Sexy right now, but it could be addressed really quickly because of what they have to work with. Now, with the Deegans, my question about them moving forward here is, as you said before, this is a team that is young, athletically gifted. They have a good core to work with. They've been together for a while now as a core group moving forward here. But you're in a division that is maybe slanted heavy towards the top end of the division, so you might have an easier run. But I think that they right now have less to worry about question marks, and I think more to gain if it really breaks for them in a proper way. So I think right now I'm more comfortable with the Deegans than I am with Let Me Sexy because of one reason only: the quarterback play a lot more stable with the Deegans than it is with Let Me Sexy.
I'll wrap it up by saying maybe more questions offensively for Let Me Sexy, and more.
Oh, what we said, Let Me Sexy.
I don't know, dude. I'm sick.
Let Me Sexy, huh?
Wait, it is Love Me Sexy.
Whatever it is.
It is Love Me Sexy. What are you giving me grief about?
I think it's Let Me Sexy.
Not Let Me Sexy. I'm sick here. I already feel.
Now he's gonna drop in. I'm sick, guys. I had people coming at me left, right, center. Now I'm sick. The sick card comes in.
I already feel my vocal cords giving.
Oh, really? When I had what was it I had 2 years ago when I was coughing and sneezing my way through a 4-hour show with you, Eagle, and I. What did I have?
I don't know what. Oh yes, I remember in the armpit of Montreal. Huh? Would you have bronchitis?
Bronchitis, yes, in the summertime, which is probably the worst thing to have. Yeah, bronchitis.
Maybe I have. Jeez. Maybe I have right now.
Hopefully not.
But yes, more questions about maybe Snowden's defense.
All right, V-Town to use, and he's coming next week back on the show with you, Iggy. The classic peas in line. Are they false kings? 2 wins have been by a single point each. They're 2-1. They're chasing the Deegans for first in their division right now.
They lost to
But
them though.
yes, they beat they lost to big part. They lost to Deegans by 18, but they beat all Pats by 1, and they beat Brewers by 2. So they have 2 games of 2 points or less. Brewers aren't the coming of the 2008 New England Patriots here, Iggy, and they barely beat them by 2. I caught a bit of the game on Tuesday night here. They're 2-1. That's what the record is. But are they false kings?
I wouldn't even give them the false king moniker. Like, you got to be a false king sitting at 3-0 at least. But they're 2-0, like you said. Their record is what it is. They're a 2-1 team that just got, squeaked by with 2 wins. I think they're, a decent team. A team that hasn't played in a while, and it's going to take a bit of time to get used to things again. But the Snowden loss by 18, like you said, doesn't necessarily inspire much confidence. When they play a team like Glow Gang coming up on the schedule, even Love Me Sexy down the line, Notorious CIG, even I like what SNP, Salts and Pepper, have been doing as of late. I see this team being like 5-5, maybe 4-6. So, I mean, first of all, you had to be 3-0 to get the false king moniker. So no, not a false king.
They're false kings in my books. Lost
Can't
by
be false
Deegans.
king if you have a loss.
It doesn't matter. They
They're
lost
not
the
kings.
Deegans.
They're not
They
kings.
Lost the Deegans last Sunday, and they're gonna be okay. But I'm not buying into V-Town. You know what's gonna happen now, right? You know what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen?
It's gonna go according to script because that's how they are. They're great dudes. When we cross paths, and it's gonna happen. We're gonna cross paths probably June 4th in Brossard on Tuesday night, or June 16th, whenever it is. Mo God, we saw what you said, huh, bro? False kings, huh, bro?
And it's going to be like 3-4 weeks later, and you're going to be like, what did I say?
What did I say? Who are you guys? That's how it happens, man. Like, ask PC, he'll tell you the exact same thing. When a team, apparently we stole on a team, and then they come back at us like 5 weeks later. Hey, bro, you picked against us. Cool. Who are you? That's what's going to happen with False Kings in V-Town. All right, so big game this week. Bend Don't Break against Notorious CIG. Bigger game for who? Bend Don't Break or Notorious?
I mean, Bend Don't Break are coming off a roster overhaul here, as they posted on the Facebook group that a lot of injuries and unforeseen work and vacation plans they had to retool their roster on the fly here, but they did add some 3 great players in John Michael Anfazzi, Reese Morgan Tracy, and Louis Messier Lavallee. Some experience added to the lineup to an already good roster in Bend Don't Break. Notorious for making deep playoff runs. The thing is with Bend Don't Break, and I'll answer your question in a second, Mo. The thing with Bend Don't Break, if they were, because they're serious about it, but also not serious about it at the same time. This is a team that's always late for games. Like, if they just showed up and were just a bit more mentally focused, they have the athleticism and the knowledge of the game to do super well in this league and to be one of the teams that could move up to Division C. I don't know about Division B, but if they applied themselves mentally and focused up and took it to the next level, this is a very good team. So that's kind of Bend Don't Break story here. What's their record right now? They got a victory over the Bandits yesterday. I can't see them. Where are they? They're sitting at 1-1. And Notorious CIG also sitting at 1-1. I'd go with Bend Don't Break just because of that cohesion with new players added to the roster. Because Notorious CIG has been a bit of a more consistent roster. George Spano has more reps under center than Josh Sporer does, although he has thrown in the past. I'm gonna have to go with Bend Don't Break just with what's been going on, the context of the team so far.
I think Notorious CIG. I'm going to go. Bendo Break has, again, that winter finals history that they had where they got ripped, unfortunately for them.
Well, they
But
were only 5.
I
Again,
know.
they were only 5.
I
Like, it
know.
just again.
I know. Look, I think for CIG, they are a team that's been there and just want to take the next step here. And I think, with again, Spanish said before being the quarterback for them, I think he's a solid player to work with. Receiving core is very, very, very underrated in terms of who they have in the roster. They have we'll learn more. We'll learn more about them in this game, and if they do come away with the victory here, I think it keeps them in that conversation for a top 8 seed in the playoffs. So I think this game means more to them. I think for Bend Don't Break, look, if they show up, great, and hopefully they have 5, 6 guys to play with. But I think this means more for CIG moving forward in terms of how this is a big game for them. All right, Division A, Iggy. Look, right now, starting to see a pattern here. The
Ooh,
usual suspects starting to make a big move here. Braves and Mangoose are 1-2 right now for the time being. Of course, it's early in the season here. But who is the third best team in Division A?
ooh, I like that question. Um, I mean, just because they're sitting at 0-1 and they're in the final playoff spot right now, you would think it's not, or I don't know, like you don't want me to say Spearhead, but it has to be Spearhead. Like the roster's insane, and you have one loss, 24-33, but it's one game they've played. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's Spearhead.
And they get Mangoose, which we'll talk about as a preview here in the coming seconds. Um,
Why? Who do you have?
Look, right now, I think for Division A, I'm not saying there's a big gap here. I'm not saying it's a big, big gap. But I really think if it can go their way, if they can get their bleep in order here, if they get their
Oh,
bleep in
I
order.
know. I know who you're gonna say.
Go ahead. Who am I thinking of right now?
You're thinking of PC Party Crashers.
No, Bless.
Oh,
We
okay.
should have made a bet on this. Man, I would have won some money on this one here.
Okay,
You know.
go on.
Okay, they've been knocking at the door. And I told you this quote before. Great Montreal basketball player Ricky Volsey once told me, Mo, you don't knock on doors, you kick down that bleeping door. This team has to kick down this bleeping door and announce to the higher division, Div 1 or Div A world, that we are here. We are going to be a part of this conversation. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be with the Braves. We're going to be with Mangoose. We're going to be with Spearhead. And you're going to see us in that playoff run. Think about it this way, right? They lost in the last play to Mangoose in the Div 2 playoffs 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were one play away from maybe going towards the final. This is their chance here to kind of anoint themselves as being the third best team. Alexis Farrar, Sir William Power, Dylan Daru, Andrew Grant. These are dogs out there for this football team in a good way, by the way. And by the way, they get Mangoose on Sunday. So we'll have a better idea about Mangoose and where they stack up because they'll get Spearhead and Blessed in the next couple of games here. But this situation right now with Blessed and Mangoose, it's massive for for Blessed, because if they were to beat that Mangoose team, then they are in that third spot entrenched going towards the month of June.
So Mo, look at the game sheet that's up against Party Crashers. And if I had to ask you what's holding back the team, especially in this game, it's easy that it's in this game. Again, in this game, it's Steve Haraprasad throwing 5 interceptions. Will Power throwing for 2 interceptions. 7 interceptions against Party Crashers. You wouldn't think that if I asked you what's holding this team back for a division title, that it would be the quarterback play. So I don't know. I'm not saying that Steve doesn't have what it takes, but definitely it's easy to say that a game like this, and he said it himself, and he would agree with it, that a game like this is obviously not going to win you a Division A title, and not even put you up, like you're saying, in the upper echelon of Division A. So what's holding them back more? Is it going to be just in general, not necessarily this game, but in general the quarterback play or the receivers around Or is it the offense or the defense? And maybe let's generalize it even further.
Is that
What's
a
holding
question, or
them
are
back?
you making a statement?
No, it's a question. What's holding
Okay.
them back? What's holding them back more, the offense or the defense? Let's start there. Quick.
Okay, so for Bless right now, this is my point about them. This is a team that you're right. The quarterback play with the INTs has been bad, but look at their defense right now. Hensley Adams could be a game changer for this team.
Yep. I
Okay?
agree.
Rush quarterback. You look at Sterling Power. He's a great deep end safety. Andrew Grant is a bulldog or no, pit bull. Pit bull. I beg your pardon. Bulldog's very lazy and surly. He's not lazy and surly, but he's a pit bull of a corner out there. This team has more edge to it than in years past. I'm not saying they were soft. Okay, I am saying Bless was soft. They were soft. Okay, this team has more edge. Okay, Kazaka is a kamikaze of a football player out there. He'll throw his body anything. Okay, Dylan Daoud takes no BS from anybody out there. Andrew Grant, he talks and he backs up his talk, 85% of the time, and that's what they've been lacking. I think now we can see this team once they get going here. I'm gonna call it. This is my Brent Bakken guarantee. They are the third best team in Division A.
All right. Okay. You made your point. I don't agree, but you made your point.
I will be right at the end of the day. All right, Spearhead, Mongoose, they got the duel on Monday Night Football. I know you like Spearhead as the third best team, but this is big, I think, for Mongoose because you want to create that separation with them and Spearhead. If Spearhead's a team that's going to catch up to them for number 2, you want to create that separation where you have a bit of runway to work with going towards June.
Yeah, it's a game on my field, so definitely gonna be excited for that one. I mean, I do like what Mongoose present. It's a team that's come so far in the past seasons here, with especially with Nick Schaefer. He's improved tremendously in a short amount of time in FPF. But man, I'm telling you, do they have? And I love the pieces they added too, right? The Ansil brothers or family members, great pieces. But I don't know. I don't know if they can go up against James O'Hayan, James Drysdale, Jordan Panetta, Noah Groper, Manuel Arroy, Sanders Armand, Anthony Brisebois. That is one big mix of size, speed, insane, athleticism. Maybe they can compete with the athleticism side of things, but the verticals, the James Drysdale and Anthony Brisebois just win balls in the air, and a lot of throws might come down to that, and the game might come down to just Brisebois and Drysdale just making plays that you raise your hands up and you say, okay, I can't defend that. That's just undefendable. Ball was placed in a perfectly accurate place by Jeff Rosenblatt, and these guys just made an incredible play, and you're just going to have to put your hands up in the air. And I think that while Mongoose is going to make a statement game by keeping it close, I think they're either going to be a possession or maybe a few points away from getting a victory.
Okay, fair enough. That's a fair point to bring up here. I think it comes down to extra points with these teams here. And Mongoose, they've been good on extra points, except for the Div 2 final. But that might be the key.
I even forgot Kenny Bay. Are you serious? Are you serious? Kenny Bay as well. This roster's insane.
Yeah, Kenny Bay is a good player. He's a hell of a player. I always wonder why he wears football pants, though.
I don't know.
Oh, I'll ask him next time about that.
Okay.
Last question for Div A before we get to 5 versus 5.
Eagles fan, by the way.
Yeah, whatever.
Go Birds.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah.
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Figure out your quarterback. Your head of security over there. Dom Lazat. What's his name again? Big Dom.
Big Dom. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he could be your security detail when you come to the fields at FPF.
Sure. Why not?
More pressure in Division A to win a quarterback. More pressure to win a championship in Division A. Which quarterback is it?
So you're asking me which quarterback has the most pressure to win?
Because there's no Wyeth, there's no Dan Lazara, there's Joe Meyer, but there's Nick Schaefer who's trying to get himself established. There's again Stephen Harpersad. We look at Jeff Rosenblatt. We look at
I think it has to be Jeff. I think it has to be Jeff. Jeff or
Yeah,
or
you might lose your
uh,
job, huh?
Jeff or
Dropping that one, big boy.
or Fred Dupree, right? Who's not really throwing, I don't think, for Party Crashers this year. I believe Jose Alexis is going to be taking
Prime
most
time.
reps.
Yeah.
He's throw Fred Dupree is throwing for a 5v5 team. It looks like to relieve some of the arm pressures he's having Jeans Lee throw. So look, it has to be Jeff for me. He has one championship under his belt. Jeff does, and was it as a snapper? I don't believe it was as a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm thinking, no, hell's no, he didn't win as a quarterback.
There you go. So I
And
mean
he
now,
lost the spring finals last year, right, to Kevin Wyeth.
right. So like just to put my name there, it's not me. This is my first year in Div A. I have no pressure. I'm playing with house money here. I've thrown the most interceptions, and it's I'm just giving my shot in Div A. So it's not me. And I maybe Phil Cutler, maybe just because
No,
of
but
his
he's
pedigree.
won. He's won.
But he's
championships,
won.
Though.
I know,
He's
I
shown.
know, I know, but not in Div A. And the
No,
question,
but he's putting together the ability to win, especially during COVID years. He put
but
together
that's it.
back.
But that actually is a point in my favor because he has shown and proven the ability to win. What was it, 5, maybe 6 championships in a row? So now's maybe the pressure's on him to say, okay, no Wyeth, go ahead. This is your chance, and this is your window to open now in Division A. There's an argument that could be made that it's Phil Cutler.
I'm gonna say it is Nick Schaefer who's got the most pressure.
Okay.
Because he soiled the bed in the the winter finals Div 2. Could have won against Cat Friendly Braves in the finals, but didn't do so. And he's come up with when he first started in this league, he was very erratic as a thrower, didn't have the composure, the acumen you would look for from a quarterback. He found that tonic for this past winter season, and now here's his chance, right? Like the stars are aligned. There's no Wyeth. It's them and Cap Friendly, maybe Spearhead as well. But at the end of the day, the pressure's on Nick Schaefer because he's got to win those clutch games. He had 2 clutch moments in the playoffs, but the one that he lacked was in the final where he had a terrible play calling game that he had in the winter finals that he had against Cap Friendly Braves. So I think pressure's on him to win, and it's all there for him. And if he does do it now, it puts him on par with our homie Dan Lazar for spring championship titles. Mm-hmm. If Lazar, before we get to 5-5, I was going to say quickly here to wrap it up.
Yeah.
If Dan was playing, I would say Dan Lazar has got the most pressure. That's another story for another day. All right, 5 versus 5. We're starting to get a little bit bigger sample size of how it is for 5 versus 5. But why has Royaume Luminal, a team that is very good at adjusting to different divisions and playing in different styles of football, have had a tough go? They were down 12-0 in their loss to Jameson's. They're 0-2. They're in last place, and they just have not had the same success in 6 versus 5s in the situation they're in right now.
So in the game against the Braves, which Mo, I'm not sure if you know, I subbed in for the Braves. I noticed they dropped a lot of like 1 or 2 quarterbacks on a lot of plays. Not just, I know they do it in 6v6, but they were doing it almost like, I'd say a 30% clip. I'm not sure if that was the same case yesterday or Wednesday night against the Jamesons. I did see it on a few times, but I'm telling you, I was seeing it 30 to 40% of the plays there was a drop back quarterback, which is not how they usually run their 6v6 offense. Could it be that they're maybe dropping quarterbacks too many times and putting the ball out of Jesse Dupree's hands, having Marc-André Lapointe or who's the other receiver that usually drops for them?
Quasi Gordon Mall.
Quasi didn't drop so many times against the Braves. I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of Alexis Gamont getting the ball in his hands. It's also, like you said, the adaptation to the game. Against the Braves, it was a 21-16, so that's a low scoring game. Here they were only the last game they were only able to put up 12. They're gonna have to get used to it. It's a different game. Yeah, definitely strange seeing them with 28 points through 2 games.
You make a great point. The weakening of Jesse Dupree as a quarterback, like they had Kwesi Gordon taking snaps on his center, takes a snap and he tosses it to Jesse. I find that you're neutralizing Kwesi's ability as a route runner because now you're saying, hey, you're in the center, ready, set, hot, turns around, gives a toss play to Jesse, and now Kwesi's got to go into third gear, right? Whereas if you're natural receiver position, you're in first gear, you build it up towards sixth gear. Now he's got to go from 0 to 60 in literally 1 second.
Here's go.
And I just think that it really stunts his ability, and that makes it now 3 options as opposed to 4 options. And I know he's running, swing route and wheel route up the sidelines, but that's not that's not Kwesi's game. What Kwesi does so well is that the yak yards after catch is that he give him a 5-yard play and he blows it open. But by him doing the whole underneath center thing here, it's literally you stunted him. It's like a sprinter, right? A sprinter's not upright when they come out of the blocks. They're low to the ground and they go. And they've taken away his ability to explode out of the blocks on the snap of football by doing this stupidness. And I don't think it's helped them. I really don't think it's helped them at all. Oh, your mic's off there, Iggy.
It's possible, but here's I was going to give you the argument for why they're doing that, and it's an argument. What?
Oh, your headset, man. Your headset's screwed up right now, Iggy. We'll have to come back to you with your argument in 2 seconds here. So, can you hear us now, Iggy?
What do you mean? Yes, I've been hearing you the whole time.
Yeah, but now you're echoing. Iggy, you good now? Here we go.
Oh, no, I'm being muted.
Yes, now you're good to go, Iggy. You're good to go.
Okay. Why am I... Omar, are we good to go?
Glitch with your headset. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the argument for that. And what I noticed against the Braves is that Jesse's so good, and there's the argument for why they have Kwesi going under center and pitching Jesse the ball, is that Jesse, against the Braves at least, is and in general, is so good at making the rusher miss and then taking off for a run, which you cannot do in 5v5 unless you have received the ball from the person who took the snap under center. So Kwesi doing that allows Jesse the ability to make a move on the rusher and go and run downfield, because it was clear on Monday night against the Braves that when he would make a rusher miss in Isaiah Allard, which is not necessarily an easy feat, you could tell he wanted to take off downfield and hesitated, and now took his eyes off downfield for an extra second, and the play stunted itself. So I actually do like the fact that they had Kwesi taking the snap and pitching it to Jesse.
Yeah.
But yes, it does limit a bit of what Kwesi downfield. But again, you said it. If you can just swing him in the backfield or just on a swing route and get him the ball there, he's able to take it downfield. Anyways, that's why they're doing it. They have to try something else.
Diamond Bougie, good win for them in their opening round for 5 versus 5. I think their roster is really good for 5 versus 5. I think how they're built. By the way, I know you got the picture up here of our 2 future CTA guys, and Manu and Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Jerome looks like a real douchebag, trying to flex his arms.
Jerome
Holton looks like a guy that that weekend warrior. The sleeve, the tight pants.
He's trying to get the drip.
And look at Manu, right? Like, hey, what's going on? Peace, vibes.
Oh, the peace. He's going for the peace.
The vibes. And Vego's like, all right, man, put down your hand, please.
The big smile from
exactly.
CV3.
Great kids. They'll be hosting the show soon. Okay, so my whole thing with them, I think they're built for this type of environment. I know KGP did not have Joy Taylor throwing for them, but I just think they understand angles. I think they adapt the rules really quickly. There's the high football IQ guys all across the board, and you got Gab Charles Champagne, Felix Boutte, who's not played yet. Barros played. Barros is a good receiver who I think was subbing in for them at the time. Yep. But if this core group stays, I think they can make some noise in 5 versus 5.
Yeah, they think so too. They think they're well suited for the format. I think defensively they are. And I think the conversation, the summary of the conversation is that even offensively, they'll be fine. It's going to really come down to Jules Regimbald. He has the receivers in Jerome, Charles Vero, Manu, even Nathan Desjardins back with the Diamond Bougie Club. He's improved tremendously since, if you want, being cut from the team. Gab Champagne, Alex Barros, again, subbing, but they're going to try and get him 5 games played. So, like, these guys are built for flag. So, and I don't know, Jules' arm is suited for 5-on-5 as well. If you can hit deep, which he can, that stretches the field and opens up all kinds of possibilities in the intermediate game. His strength is not necessarily hitting those 1-yard hooks and quick slants. So, which is more suited for 10 yards, gives you a first down in our 6v6 format.
Right.
So with his cannon of an arm, that opens and stretches out the field, that forces defenders to cover the entire length of the field and opens up the intermediate. So interesting for this team looking forward, but I don't think you gotta slow down the pipeline here. 39-12, great win, big margin of victory, but I think, like we said, Diamond Bougie, it's suited for them. I think you saw it, Mo. Joey Taylor's not suited for the 5-on-5.
No, he's not. He's not suited for this. It does not fit. It's like his system does not work in this type of.
Exactly.
It's too condensed. The geography of the field is too small for him. He can't do it. And I'm not, but he can't play 5 like his system
right
can't
now.
work in this.
Right now.
Yeah, it can't work right now. He's gonna make some adjustments.
Yeah.
All right, Division C. The toughest division, or which division has the potential as being the toughest this year? Because you look at it across it, Iggs, there's some really like death row like divisions, 1 through 5. And I looked at it, I go, man, this division's tough. This division's tougher. This division's the toughest. This might be the toughest one of the bunch. So which one do you think could be the toughest when we hit week 10 of the season?
So we'll go through it quickly. And by division, you mean groups, right?
Yes.
So Group A has no weak team. Not only does it not have a weak team, there's no they're all good teams as well. I mean, your worst team right now is
you continue with that point. I'll be back in 3 seconds.
Yeah. So like Trapstar's your worst team right now with a 1-point loss, sitting at 0-1. Win Diesel has impressed so far. So Group A's could be a candidate. You look at Group B. You do here. There's some weak teams here. You have Nighthawks and Mangu sitting at 0-2, and Team Ruthless sitting at 0-2. So that rules out Group B. Group C. I like Group C, but I think Group A's better. Although it's close because you have Pacemakers, Team Ethnic, both sitting at 1-1, but I don't think they're strong enough to go on deep playoff runs. You do have, like Win Diesel, you have Les Petits Carottes, who are off to a good start in Division C. Very nice to see. Love seeing newer teams making the jump up, having early success in Division C in this case. Jagerbom's going to be good, but I don't think Group C, that makes Group C the strongest with Pacemakers and Team Ethnic there. So Mo, just to summarize so far, Group A has no weak teams. It's definitely not Group B with 3 teams sitting at 0-2. Group C, it's almost like Group A, but you have Pacemakers and Team Ethnic that I don't think are going to make deep playoff runs. What group is this? Group D. You got Never Overtime in there, who has struggled so far this season and have struggled in seasons past. Warehouse as well, getting shut out this past week, 40-0 by Idaho. I don't think it's Group D. And then that leaves Group E. So I think, and Group E, like Group A, no weak teams here. You have Idaho, Fins Up, Renat Vif, Backfield, and Air Laval. Air Laval only losing by 1 point in overtime to Friends with Danny. Again, no weak teams like Group A, and they're all good teams. I want to say Group A, but I'm going to go Group E because Group A has a newer team in so does Le Renard Vif. No, man, this is close. It's between Group A and
It's
E.
Group E. It's Group E.
It's Group
Group
E,
E is a
yeah?
group of
Yeah.
death. I know you the pimps. Fins up. Le Renard Vif. Backfield penetration. Your winter final champions. Le Renard Vif. Spring season champions. Fins up. Very good team. I know you the pimps. We know who they are. Air Laval.
Spring season, yeah.
Yeah, last year. Air Laval, very good team as well. So I think in this whole context, my Saints coming from this division, but good chance that one of these 5 teams is going to the finals in this division this season.
Yeah, Group E, it's definitely Group E.
Yeah. Marcus Lynch of Win Diesel. Is he a performer or a producer on the football field?
I did not understand this question whatsoever. Insert laugh.
No,
What
think
the
about
hell
it.
does that mean?
No,
Is
it's
he a
a
performer or a producer?
Yeah.
So what, is he an actor or is he the
No.
producer of a film? Like, why are we talking film study here?
No. It's a question I was asked about certain NBA players, right? So I'm going to ask you this question, right? Is he a performer or a producer on the football field?
So but give it some context. Is he a performer because are you saying like performer as in he's a flashy, like looks good, or does he produce like yardage? Like, I don't know.
That's what it is. Is he more the flash as a performer, or is he a producer of yards and touchdowns?
He's both. You can clearly like
you gotta pick
there's
one.
some players.
You gotta pick one.
There's
Marcus
some
Lynch.
players that like you clearly can tell they have that it factor, and Marcus Lynch definitely does, and he produces. He's 5 for 5 in his first game. 5 for 5 being 5 receptions, 5 on all 5 targets, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns, and defensively, usually up there as well. He had no interceptions, but he did get a hand on a ball there. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with.
You got stuck.
Yeah, you did. I'll go with performer, but he's equally a producer as well.
Okay,
and
so
while you go on a rant, I'll take off.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do. So look, to clarify, performer and producer. Producer is a guy who produces damage, right? Yards, touchdowns, points, whatever it is. Performer, aerial highlights, the pizzazz, the panache that he has. I think that Marcus Lynch is a producer. He produces points, he produces yards. You want a big play, Marcus is the guy for you. And I just think that he is one of the best up-and-coming receivers that we have in FPF. And however long he goes, because he's committed to Concordia, and who knows how that will play out for him. But he has such a high IQ of a football player, both sides of the football play. You put him on the outside, you put him on the inside, tracking the football. The amount of steps it takes for him to make his cut, his route, it is like a gazelle out there watching him on the football field. His feet never touch the turf. And his unbreakable focus that he has making one-handed grabs, unbelievable. I think he's a producer, and I think he's one of the best up-and-coming receivers that we have in FPF. I think he might be the best receiver in this division if he continues at the clip that he's at. And I'll ask you last year, Iggy has made a point. I think he's a producer. Is Marcus Lynch, yes or no, before we get to the next question, is Marcus Lynch the best receiver in Division C? Yes or no?
No, he's one of them, but there's just too many great receivers in the division. Marvin Steinberg, Jerome Hovington, James Langshaw. There's just too many. He's great. He could be one of the best, but there's just other guys.
Okay,
that are
I'll put you on the
too.
spot right now before we get to the next question here. If you're going down to Orlando for the Pro Bowl and you listed Langshaw, Marvin, Jerome Hovington, right? Anyone else?
Gab Champagne.
Gab Champagne, right? And Marcus Lynch. Is Marcus Lynch on that plane with you if you can only bring 4 receivers down to Orlando for the Pro Bowl?
Yes, he's definitely yes he is.
So who's cut then amongst the names you mentioned? Gab, James Langshaw, Marvin, and Jerome Hovington.
Only James, not because he doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have necessarily the the how do I say? I was about to say a word that would have questioned something about James. He doesn't have like the drive for flag like the other guys do.
Okay. All right, no problem. Lastly, last question. Oh, retro's back, baby. We Baggy's back in the fashion world of where we are in life. Which retro team will have a better season, Trinity or the Commission? And they play each other week 9, by the way.
Oh, good. This is actually so retro for me in Trinity that it's before my time covering the division. So remind me like of Jean-Félix Marquis' pedigree. How high did he play? Like, was he a Div A quarterback, Div B, Div 2, 3, 4? Like, where did this guy rank?
He
I don't know.
played Div B, I think, with Commission. Anyway, he's played high level ball in this league. He hasn't played in a while. Alexander Thompson has not played for a while. But, they have a good core. I mean, Mav, Marc Antoine Vien, look at Louis Bégin, Vincent Marquis. They have a good core. And look, they're off to a good start. I mean, 1-2, but they've played well. They went easily, could have won that game, lost by 1. They beat Trap Stars, which is big, and they lost to Friends of Danny by 20. But they get Mengus coming up here next Tuesday. To be 2-2 going to June would be phenomenal for them. And I think right now, in terms of the retro team, Trinity's good, but I think Commission with Stephen Casey as quarterback, happy birthday to Stephen Casey, could make a difference for Commission and try to take that next step in the development of that team, because they hadn't played since last spring, but now here they are back in the scene of the crime here. I'm going Commission as being the best retro team with these two squads right now.
I'd have to go. If I had to answer now, I would say Trinity, but I think you're going to get your answer when they play Idaho Utah-Pimps. Trinity does Monday, June 3rd, because the Commission just got. I mean, it's fair to say they got spanked by Idaho.
Demoralized.
Exactly. So, 44-25 this past week at Marie Victorin. The Commission, they're good. They have the weapons for Stephen Casey, but like I said for Jules Regimbald in the 5v5 discussion here that we had, he's Stephen Casey's the question mark on the team, not the question mark of can he throw a football. He can obviously throw a football, but I feel like the flag concepts have never kicked in. So like he's got to show that he's got the confidence as the right play calling for the right time and manage the game properly.
Right.
Because so far in 26-26 tie against Big Fat Bats is actually a good outcome, but it was week 1. Because Big Fat Bats are looking good. And then they beat a team Ruthless, who's they're not a Division C team. They're good, but they should have signed up for like Div D. They just punched a bit above their weight class here. So we'll see, but I'm going with Trinity with your question.
I'm going to go with Commission. That's who I'm going to go with and see what they do. I think Casey brings a little bit more difference to the quarterback position that they've been lacking, and I think he will be much easier, I think, for them to kind of navigate through this waters here. So give me Trinity, give me Commission over Trinity for that question. All right, on to Division C. B, I beg your pardon. Division B, beg your pardon. Michael Caparelli, are you buying into his good start as a quarterback for one stop, or are you going to hold off until we see a bigger sample size?
Nope, I am. I'm all in on the cap train. You can cap me whenever you want. No, he looked great against Silent Ticklers. He's looked great last night with Big Fat Bats in Division C, like we just said. He has the absolute stud receivers to complement his game. He's like Stephen Casey, but better with the flag concepts, because he can throw a heater with the football around there. He can make accurate throws, put the ball exactly on the money. He can put great touch on the ball, and with guys like Janai Lewis, Ryan McNally, AJ Zepatelli, man, AJ Zepatelli is becoming one of the better receivers in all of flag. Man, this guy was one of the better receivers in Division 3, and he's showing that he could be one of the best receivers in Division B as well. Charles Cossette, Luca Lechez is snapping for the team. He has a lot of weapons around him that I 100% trust what Michael Caparelli can do with in Division B with one stop.
Yeah. Look, here's you've heard the analogy of quarterbacks. Can they throw open the receiver, then the receiver getting open for the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Can he get them open?
Yeah.
And he's got dudes to work with. You mentioned Zapatelli, you mentioned the Janai Lewis, you mentioned even Charles Cassette, Arch McNally, Lecheze. These are all good players, athletic players who play high-end football at the university level for the most part of it. So is Caparelli able to get them open then rather than getting open? And that's what I want to see. And they got infantry coming up, which I'll be scorekeeping on next Tuesday. Infantry's got some dudes to work with on defense here, and they got length to work with. So that's going to be key for Caparelli's. All right, I'm going to go up against a team that's maybe taller, that can take away more of my passing lane. So how am I going to adjust? How am I going to get these guys open so when I make those throws, those aren't passes but throws that's going to kill this team off. And that's why I'm going to hold off for Caparelli yet. But it's there. It's there for him to make noise for sure. Sunday, Ticklers, easy W. Who needs this game more, Iggy?
I get why you're asking the question, but for me it's a no-brainer. It's easy W. Easy W already losing to Silent Ticklers this past week with Jeremy White missing, and they're sitting at 1-1, and Silent Ticklers are sitting at 1-2. For me, it's easy W, but I see that if easy W or if Silent Ticklers loses the game, they'll be at 1-3. But for me, just in terms of having a tiebreaker, go or balance itself out, or like the what am I? God, I'm trying to say that they split the season series. My God, it was not coming out. It's important that if ever these two teams are tied, that they're not 0-2 against Silent Ticklers if it comes down to a tiebreaker situation. For me, it's easy W.
I think it's Silent Ticklers. Yeah, they had the game earlier this week, and which was won by the Ticklers. But the Ticklers lost infantry without Jordan Panetta at quarterback. He's now back. They lost on one stop, right? We just spoke about them. They got to win this game because
no Rosen and no Mancini for that game, though.
Right,
and they may have lost Rosen.
Banged up. Rosen's
yeah,
banged
he's
up.
Banged
right
up. Yeah, exactly.
So and Mancini's out for a while, but Ticklers have to win this game because they get Hateful Eight, which should be a win for them, and then the schedule gets a little bit easier for the next two games. They could run it, but you don't want to fall behind, Iggy, because now you lost the tiebreaker for now to one stop. You have a chance to maybe put, again, the gap with Uni's W, but then you got Kiss My In-Laws coming up in the middle of June. And so, again, the more losses, they already have two, and if you want to be a top two team, two is max. Like, you get 3 losses, that might be a 3 seed. It might. So they can ill afford to lose early now and have 3 losses before the halfway point. So I think for them, they have to win this game and to keep their hopes alive for a top 2 position for the Div B playoffs.
Yeah, I think for standings and like overall standings, I see your point with Silent Ticklers. For me, it's like a tiebreaker situation, going with easy W there.
Okay, so Bruins, you wrote but in the script here. Thankfully, you wrote that in there. Okay, so Bruins come back. Roster's a bit different. They got Mike Pearson, Marvin Steinberg, and Gab Champagne throwing. So not really the same roster, but it is the same roster kind of with some core elements in there. So Bruins, are they better or is the winter team better than what they have right now?
It's an interesting question because they've added firepower. I think defensively they're better. How could you not be if you add Marvin Steinberg and Mike Pearson to the squad? Offensively, though, I don't think they're as good. I mean, obviously, first game 42-6, but against Hateful Eight, who also don't belong in the division. But Gab Champagne is going to be throwing against Division B defenses in his first ever FPF season throwing. Let's see how that goes. He basically threw against like a Division D team in week 1 with Division B receivers. So you see the scoreline become 42-6 and stats look great for him. He's not going to go up against the upper echelon of Division B against Beer Belly, so he might see only a small reduction in his production. But then against One Stop, against Kiss My In-Laws, against One Stop again, Heavenly Sons, and Easy W, that's going to be the tougher games for this team. I think they improved defensively and slightly reduction in on the offensive side of the ball, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, like Vego is a really good quarterback, and Rocco Cristiano is a really good player, and you lose those two sports cars, not the easiest. And you bring in a Mike Pearson, who's he's like.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean,
Verreaux's on the team.
I know, but what I'm saying though, right, in terms of what they bring, in terms of what the roster is, right, when you look at it right now, for Rocco, I mean, he came as a quarterback in the finals, right, and his skill set is unbelievable. But what I mean by in terms of what they bring as a whole, like Verreaux, is he going to play or is he not going to play?
He is going to play. Okay,
so if he's going to play, that's a different story. But no, but that's what I'm saying. Like he hasn't played yet. That's why, right? He hasn't.
Yeah, it was one game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in that sense, though, I'll change my answer to the question now. Yes, are they better? Yes, in theory, right? They have more firepower to work with, right? You bring in Pearson to work with. They still have some key guys in place that we know about, right? Justin Calix is a guy that we know very well. But my question for them, though, is that they had a stink bomb of an effort in the winter finals, which we thought was going to be the best one. They got ran off the field.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's like it's going to linger, but like, man, like you put together a good season. I still have the bracket right here.
Oh boy,
still have the bracket. We're going to frame this, put this in the FPF offices.
The Hall of Fame. The
Hall of Fame down the road. You were the 2 seed, and I spoke to a team in the Division III playoffs who played in the playoffs. I won't say who it was. And they said, man, if we had a chance to play the Bruins, we would have smoked them by more than what they got smoked by.
It wasn't me.
No, but I'm saying there was a team that said that, right? I mean, so I want to see them win the big one. Like, you got to win the big one, man. Like, regular season, great. Like, they've become a really good regular season team. And in the playoffs, that last game left a real bad taste in my mouth about them.
For sure, but, I mean, it's not controversial to say the biggest question mark is at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And if your biggest question mark is QB, that's a problem in Division B. That is not something that you want to be like, we're not sure. We'll see how it goes.
Sure.
Not in Division B. In Division D, sure, go for it. By Division B, you need your QB position to be 100% solid.
Absolutely.
And it's a funny tidbit of information, but it's very unlikely that you win a game if you don't complete a pass. But if ever Gab Champagne doesn't complete a pass and they happen to win a game, they forfeit the game because his wide receiver rating will kick in, and then they bust the cap.
All right, Iggy, that'll do for us here for week 2. Peasy will be in the saddle. First time he's back since last August.
Ooh,
so you and Peasy.
We'll see if the new Peas, the daddy Peas, if he's really cool.
Yeah. Are we together in 2 weeks? You and I?
We'd have to look at our spreadsheet schedule.
Yeah, I think we are together. I know, but here's the thing though. We did mention that Manu.
You and
Jerome,
Peas the week after.
Okay, so it's Peas and I. Okay, so then Manu and Jerome will have their show at some point together. At some point, I think.
Yes.
Right. So we'll figure that out. Okay. Again, uniform reminders. Please have uniforms locked and loaded, ready to go. Same color, property numbers, all that. Team photos being done. Team fees, are they now due in next week or so here, Iggy?
Oh, yes, they are due next Thursday, May 30th. So if you still have an outstanding balance, it is due next week. If you want to know how much your balance is because you can't keep track of your own transfers, you can simply write an email to the league, and they'll let you know how much balance you have remaining.
Okay. Thank you so much, Iggy. Oriel, thank you very much as usual. coming in there. Get off to a good start here. And we'll see you next week. Magic words, please, Iggy.
Mokan, I don't do that.
Can't wait for beats next week. Good night. Oklahoma City.
Put the place up. Yeah, we know what we made of. Can't get enough of you, boo. I'm a chaser.